Residents at an apartment complex in Madison have been without power for 3 weeks, and some are being threatened with arrest if they don't vacate immediately. But it raises a big question. Is the landlord required to compensate them for the lost power? We verify. Imagine this. You have no power, spoiled groceries, a notice to vacate, and in some cases, threats of arrest if you don't comply. That's the reality for some people living at Aurora Luxury Apartments in Madison. Residents say they've been dealing with ongoing power issues for nearly 3 weeks. The property managers confirm the issue is with the building's own electrical system, not the utilities company, meaning this is squarely the landlord's responsibility. So, are landlords in Alabama required to compensate tenants if they fail to provide power? Let's verify. Our source is the Alabama Code. Here's what we found. Under Alabama Code, landlords are required to keep electrical, plumbing, heating, and other essential systems in safe working condition. If a landlord fails to meet that obligation, the law says tenants have grounds to act, but only if they follow the legal process. Tenants must first notify their landlord in writing. That could be through a text, an email, or a formal letter. After receiving written notice, tenants may be entitled to compensation. From there, the landlord has 14 days to make repairs. In cases involving extreme heat, that window could be even shorter. If the landlord fails to act, tenants may be entitled to a reduction in rent, reimbursement for out-of-pocket costs for things like hotel stays, portable AC units, or spoiled food, and in serious cases, the right to terminate their lease without penalty. But here's what tenants cannot do. Alabama law does not allow tenants to withhold rent independently. Compensation must be pursued through negotiation or the courts. If tenants withhold rent anyway, the landlord can issue a 7-day notice to pay or even file for eviction. Legal experts say documentation is everything in these cases. Tenants should write everything down, save every receipt, and photograph conditions inside the unit. So we can verify that yes, tenants may be entitled to compensation if their landlord fails to provide power, but only after proper written notice, and they must go through the right legal processes to get it. If you have something you want us to verify, text us at 256-382-2692. Gas prices are climbing as a result of the war in Iran, with the national average reaching close to $4 a gallon. But on top of what the global market is doing, Alabama also taking a cut every time you fill up. But just how much is Alabama charging, and how does it compare to years past? We verify. A trip to the gas station is something many of us do every week, and lately that task is hitting our wallets even harder than usual. Part of that is due to global factors like the ongoing war in Iran, driving up oil prices, but it may also be connected to changes in Alabama's state gas tax. So, has Alabama's gas tax actually gone up in recent years? Let's verify. Our sources are the Alabama Department of Revenue and the Tax Foundation. Here's what we found. For more than a decade, Alabama's gas tax hardly moved much at all. From 2013 through 2018, it held steady at around 20 cents per gallon, but then that changed. According to the Alabama Department of Revenue, the state gas tax is sitting at 30 cents per gallon as of July of 2025. So what caused such a big jump? That shift came in 2019 when Governor Kay Ivey signed the Rebuild Alabama Act, marking the first gas tax increase in nearly 3 decades. The law phased in a 10-cent increase over 3 years, jumping from 18 cents to 24 cents in fall of 2019, then adding 2 cents in each of the following years, bringing the total to 28 cents. In October of 2023, it ticked up another cent to 29. And then in July of 2025, it increased again to 30 cents per gallon. That's nearly a 67% increase over the last 10 years. When you compare Alabama to the rest of the country, the state ranks 25th, just below the national average of 33 cents per gallon. California tops the list as nearly 71 cents per gallon, and on the low end, Alaska is the cheapest in the nation at less than 9 cents per gallon. So we can verify that yes, Alabama's gas tax has gone up in recent years. But compared to most states, Alabamians still pay a little below the national average at the pump. And if you have something you want us to verify, text us at 256-382-2692. Earlier today, Huntsville City Schools alerted parents that an individual at Grissom High School tested positive for tuberculosis. And tonight, many parents and students are asking what that means for their children. But what exactly is tuberculosis? How does it spread? And is there a vaccine to protect you? We verify. March 24th marked World Tuberculosis Day, a global effort to raise awareness about one of the world's deadliest infectious diseases. The issue hits close to home when Huntsville City Schools confirmed a case connected to Grissom High School. With millions of cases still reported every year around the world, you might be asking, how does tuberculosis spread and is there a vaccine? Let's verify. Our sources are Dr. Ali Hassoun from the Alabama Infectious Disease Center, the Cleveland Clinic, and the CDC. Here's what we found. Tuberculosis is a bacterial infection caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It most commonly attacks the lungs, but it can also spread to the spine, brain, and kidneys. So how does it spread?
Somebody who's infected with tuberculosis, if they're coughing, it can transmit that in the air, and whoever in a close contact possibly can get infected with it.
And that airborne transmission is what makes TB so scary. In crowded or poorly ventilated spaces like classrooms, shelters, and healthcare facilities, the bacteria thrives. So is there a vaccine? Dr. Hassoun says a vaccine does exist, but its track record is complicated.
In the old days, people have used what we call BCG, and it's been used worldwide, not in the United States. But the benefit of it and the efficacy is very variable, they found out.
But here's something important to know. Not everyone who is exposed will get sick right away. According to the Cleveland Clinic, up to 13 million people in the U.S. have latent TB, meaning the bacteria are dormant. They show no symptoms and are not contagious. But if you do come in contact with someone with active TB, it could be a while before you learn whether you're sick. Experts say it can take 4 to 6 weeks for it to appear on a test. Researchers are actively working on next-generation TB vaccines, but for now, awareness and early detection remain your best defense. To reduce your risk, wash your hands frequently, cover your mouth when you cough, and avoid prolonged close contact with anyone known to have active TB. If you think you've been exposed, you're recommended to see your doctor right away. And if you have something you want us to verify, text us at 256-382-2692. With dry conditions across North Alabama, you may have heard about burn bans put in place in your area, but some of you are asking, what do these bans actually mean, and can authorities really enforce them? We verify. Burn bans pop up across Alabama every year, especially during drought conditions and dry seasons. But many people wonder if these bans carry any real legal weight or whether there's just a strong suggestion. So, can a burn ban be enforced in Alabama? Let's verify. Our source is the Alabama Forestry Commission, the Alabama Department of Environmental Management, and the Alabama Code. Here's what we found. Burn bans in Alabama are not suggestions. They're legally enforceable. The state forester can declare a fire alert restricting burning permits across specific counties. If conditions continue to worsen, the state forester, working with the governor's office, can escalate to a full no-burn order, which functions as a formal regulation with the force of law. Once that order is in place, local law enforcement becomes the designated enforcement authority. Deputies and police officers can respond to reports of illegal burning, issue citations, and even make arrests. Breaking a burn ban can lead to both criminal charges and financial penalties. In most cases, it's considered a misdemeanor under state law, meaning you could face fines up to $1,000 and up to 6 months in jail. And beyond that, you could also be held responsible for the full cost of putting out that fire, including equipment and personnel. So what exactly gets you arrested? Under the Alabama Code, it can be common things people do without a second thought. For example, tossing a lit cigarette or cigar out a window near a wooded area, burning a brush pile or debris in your yard without clearing a safe perimeter around it, starting a bonfire and walking away before it's completely out, and burning anything in an area under organized forest fire protection without first getting a permit from the Alabama Forestry Commission. But there are things that are still allowed even during a burn ban. Cooking on a charcoal grill or in a masonry barbecue pit is generally permitted as long as the fire is fully contained. But the Alabama Forestry Commission says a water hose should also be on site, and the area around the grill should be clear. So we can verify that, yes, burn bans in Alabama are enforceable. Breaking one can mean criminal charges, and you could be on the hook for any damage or fire suppression costs that follow. And if you have something you want us to verify, text us at 256-382-2692. Actor and filmmaker Tyler Perry recently handed out $1,000 gift cards at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in an effort to provide financial assistance to TSA workers who have been working without pay for several weeks amid an ongoing partial government shutdown. But now those workers are being asked to give them back. Meanwhile, here in North Alabama, Huntsville International Airport has launched its own gift card drive to support local TSA agents. So what are the rules? Can TSA workers accept gifts? We verify. TSA workers had been on the job for nearly 6 weeks without pay during the partial government shutdown. So when Tyler Perry showed up at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport this weekend with $1,000 gift cards wanting to help, workers were grateful. But now those same workers are being told to return those gift cards. So can TSA workers accept gifts? Let's verify. Our sources are the TSA's official gift acceptance policy and the Legal Information Institute. Here's what we found. When it comes to gifts, federal employees operate under tight restrictions. There are actually two separate sets of rules at play here, one covering what individual TSA employees can personally accept, and another covering what TSA can accept as an agency. Let's start with individual employees. Federal ethics rules place strict limits on what TSA officers can accept. For starters, they can't ask for gifts, and in most cases, they can't accept them either. On top of that, whatever they receive cannot be worth more than $20 from anyone on any single occasion. And over an entire calendar year, that same person cannot give that employee more than $50 worth of gifts total. And there is one rule with no exceptions. Cash is never allowed, no matter how small the amount is. The same goes for prepaid cards or anything considered a cash equivalent. But according to the federal ethics rules, store-specific gift cards like a gas station or grocery store are not considered cash equivalents. Since those cards can't be converted into cash, they're treated differently. And if the value stays at or under $20, an employee may accept one. Now let's talk about the second set of rules, gifts to TSA as an agency. According to TSA, any organized effort to donate to TSA employees must clear several hurdles before a single item changes hands. Every offer must be reviewed by the agency's Office of Chief Counsel. It must be put in writing, and that paperwork must be completed before the gift is ever distributed. So where does Tyler Perry's situation fit in? Sources say his team worked through management, human resources, and legal channels before heading to Hartsfield-Jackson with gift cards. But the airport's federal security director later raised concerns, and workers were told over the weekend to return them. The exact reason for that decision has not been confirmed. Closer to home, Huntsville International Airport has been running a community donation drive for local TSA workers that appears to follow these rules. The airport is only accepting store-specific gift cards worth $20 or less for gas, groceries, or restaurants only. Cash and general use prepaid cards are not accepted. And all donations are collected and distributed through TSA leadership at the airport. So we can verify that yes, TSA workers can accept some gifts, but only when donations go through official agency channels and follow strict federal guidelines. If you have something you want us to verify, text us at 256-382-2692. As tensions continue to rise between the U.S. and Iran, many are asking a basic but important question. What does it actually mean for the U.S. to be at war? The answer isn't, as always, as simple as you might think, and it comes down to how Congress and the president share power. We verify. The United States has been involved in numerous conflicts over the years, but hasn't formally declared war since World War II. As the conflict in Iran escalates, one question many people are asking is what exactly constitutes a war? Let's verify. Our sources are Michael Bitzer, political professor with Catawba College, the U.S. Senate, and Britannica. According to the U.S. Senate, the United States has only officially declared war 11 times with 5 countries. The last time the U.S. officially declared war was in 1942 during World War II, and in each of these 11 instances, the president appealed to Congress for authorization.
Once war is officially declared, then the action turns to the president, who has the power as the commander-in-chief.
After World War II, Congress has passed broader resolutions allowing presidents to deploy U.S. forces in specific regions to protect American interests or allies.
Congress has used a legislative tool called authorizations for the use of military force, oftentimes referred to as AUMFs. And with that, what they are basically saying is, we're not going to make a formal declaration of war, but we are going to give war-making powers from us to the president.
This is how the U.S. entered conflicts like the Korean War, Vietnam War, war in Afghanistan, and the Iraq War.
That Congress basically was asked to authorize the use of military force in those kinds of conflicts.
As of now, Congress has not passed an authorization for use of military force related to Iran. However, under the War Powers Resolution, a president could temporarily deploy U.S. forces, though longer-term military action would typically require approval from Congress. So we can verify, while the U.S. is no stranger to military conflict, Formal declarations of war are extremely rare, and right now there is no official declaration of war and no specific congressional authorization for military action against Iran. If you have something you want us to verify, text us at 256-382-2692. Today is National Missing Persons Day, a time to raise awareness about the thousands of people who go missing across the country every year. While most missing persons cases are resolved quickly, some families wait days, months, or even years for answers. You've probably heard that you have to wait 24 hours before you can report someone missing. But is that actually true? Let's verify. When someone you love goes missing, every minute counts. Waiting a full day to call law enforcement could delay searches, alerts, and crucial investigations. In Alabama, there are special rules for elderly adults, people with dementia or autism, and other vulnerable individuals, making it even more important to know when and how to report. But can you report someone missing right away? Or do you have to wait 24 hours? Let's verify. Our sources are the Code of Alabama and the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency. Here's what we found. According to Aaliyah, when a person goes missing, local law enforcement should be contacted immediately. For vulnerable populations like elderly adults, people with dementia, autism, or other mental or physical disabilities, Section 2619A4 of the Alabama Code allows caregivers to provide statements confirming the individual's condition. This ensures searches and alerts can begin immediately, even if the person cannot advocate for themselves. Officers trained in handling missing persons with these conditions may also be deployed to assist, speeding up the response. But this doesn't mean people not included in vulnerable populations have to wait. According to Section 2619.5, any law enforcement agency receiving a missing person complaint must immediately prepare and send a report to the Alabama Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And in Alabama, anyone, whether it's a family member, friend, or caregiver, can report someone missing. That report should include the person's full legal name, date of birth, and a complete physical description, including height, weight, hair, and eye color. Any distinguishing features like scars, birthmarks, or tattoos. Details about the disappearance, including the last known location and the time they were last seen or heard from. A description of the clothing they were wearing. And if they have a car, its make, model, color, and license plate number. And information about their phone, friends, and known hangouts. Once the report is filed, searches can start and alerts can be issued without delay, giving investigators the best chance to locate your missing loved one. According to Aaliyah, once the report is filed, they will determine whether the situation qualifies for an alert through ACMEC, including Amber Alerts for abducted children, missing and endangered persons alerts for vulnerable individuals, and other alerts. So we can verify that no, you do not have to wait 24 hours to report someone missing in Alabama. Calling right away helps law enforcement respond fast and use every resource to find the person safely. If you have something you want us to verify, text us at 256-382-2692. The Decatur Police Department is encrypting all of its radio and dispatch traffic. That means the days of anyone tuning in to Scanner app and listening to police calls in real time are over. But that raises a question a lot of people are asking. Is it legal to decrypt and listen to encrypted police radio in Alabama? We verify. You've probably seen it before. Someone pulls out their phone, opens an app, and listens in on live police radio traffic. For years, that was easy to access, but now, in Decatur, that's changing. Decatur police are encrypting all radio and dispatch communications, meaning you won't hear clear chatter and more so hear garbled noise. City leaders say the reason comes down to safety. Officials say scanner apps have allowed criminals to monitor officer movements in real time. At the same time, sensitive details like victim names, home addresses, and medical information were being broadcast publicly. With that signal now being locked down, it raises a new question. If someone tries to decrypt it and listen anyway, is that legal? Let's verify. Our sources are Title 18 of the U.S. Code and the Code of Alabama. Here's what we found. Under federal law, listening to an open police scanner has always been legal because the signal was there for anyone to pick up. But encryption changes that completely. Title 18 of the U.S. Code says the only reason listening to police radio is legal is because the signal is readily accessible to the general public. The moment Decatur police encrypts that signal, it is no longer readily accessible, and anyone who tries to decrypt it and listen in is breaking federal law, facing up to 5 years in federal prison. But here in Alabama, the state goes even further. The Code of Alabama says it is illegal to knowingly and intentionally intercept, any encrypted public safety communication. That covers police radio, fire dispatch, and 911 traffic. And the penalty is not a slap on the wrist. Police can seize whatever equipment you use on the spot, and a judge can order it destroyed or forfeited to the state. And under Alabama law, this is a Class C felony, which can land someone up to 10 years in state prison. So if someone were to sit in their car in Decatur with a device trying to crack into the police department's new encrypted system, they wouldn't just be breaking one law. They could be charged under both Alabama state law and federal law at the same time. So we can verify that no, it is not legal to decrypt and listen to encrypted police radio. If you have something you want us to verify, text us at 256-382-2692.
Fox 54 Plus has your news, sports, and weather. Start your evening with Fox 54 at 5:30, delivering the latest headlines and live reports straight from the scene. Then, stay informed with Fox 54 News at 9, featuring your Tennessee Valley certified most accurate weather impact team, tracking everything from tornado threats to traffic delays during severe weather. Fox 54 Sports Extra brings you more of what sports fans crave, with deeper insights, expert analysis, and all the action that matters most. On Fox 54 Plus, you'll also find Alabama politics, plus 24/7 weather radar and real-time forecasts to keep you ahead of the storm. Looking for a quick recap? Don't miss Fox 54 Week in Review, highlighting the biggest stories of the week. Jumpstart your morning with Morning Rush. Fast-paced news updates, featured with uplifting stories from across the globe. Get your entertainment fix with Getting Real, where we break down movie reviews, top 10 lists, and spotlight the newest film. Die Hard fan? Locked On Sports dives deep into the Crimson Tide, the Tigers, college rivalries, and pro action. True crime warrior style? Killer Cases brings you gripping real-life stories that stick with you. Hungry for more? Cooking with Style serves up mouth-watering recipes that are easy to make and impossible to resist. From movie previews before you head to the theater with Take a Look to must-know headlines from across the region and around the world with In the News. Watch all of these shows on demand and also on the Fox 54 News app. Available on Android and iOS devices. Streaming 24/7.
There's more to Fox 54 Plus with the Locked On Podcast Network. From the Tide to the Tigers, from college teams to pro, the Locked On Podcast Network gives you insights and analysis you just can't find anywhere else.
These kids, they want to play.
And I don't think so. I think it was Chad Baker-Mazzara.
Locked On Sports, streaming every day of the week and right here on Fox 54 Plus.